Welcome into our first Rambler Insider conversation as we check in with coaches around the Loyola Ramblers family. I'm Sam Levitt, and today I'm joined by Loyola men's volleyball head coach Mark Hulse. Mark, first and foremost, hope you and your family are doing well and are healthy. What are your days like right now with everything going on, and how are you adjusting to being at home?
Yeah, it's been crazy, unprecedented, whatever you want to say, insert adjective here. But so we have my wife and I, we have a 3-year-old and a little guy is like, I don't know, 19 months now. And so that's been like the big challenge, right? Is what do you do with those two? I can't imagine homeschooling, but you can't quite homeschool a 19-month-old, right? Told somebody, if you gave me duct tape, I couldn't make this kid sit down and do arts and crafts. So the warm weather has been nice, and the sun is shining right now, and that changes the tone for sure around the house. The activity level is a little easier when you can get outside versus in, and then checking in with guys throughout the day for sure. But a lot of it is some early morning stuff, and then as soon as kind of she punches out for the day, I sort of punch back in, and I'm trying to get kind of a work day in from 5 p.m. till 8 a.m. the next morning, and then we do it again. So we're kind of working reverse shifts, but luckily, our work kind of lends itself. I can make a bunch of recruit phone calls and do some of that stuff in the evenings, check in with guys in the evenings and throughout the day. It is a challenge, but the first thing you said, we're healthy. And so it's not a complaint over here. It's a challenge, sure, but a fun one. And that's not the case for everybody, and so we're certainly fortunate in our little world here that everyone is healthy and doing all right.
Certainly fortunate. And I'm curious now, with the little ones, when you put on the TV, what are they watching?
We watch Frozen 2 a lot. We watch Frozen 2 a lot over here. You get Disney Plus. It's got everything they've ever made. And we watch Frozen 2 and Frozen 2 only. But, the songs are pretty good. So we kind of start the day that way, and we kind of start ending the day that way. That's kind of how we wind up and we wind back down. But a lot of Frozen 2.
Well, the good thing is I've been looking for things to watch, and I've never seen Frozen 1, and now I know I got to see Frozen 2, so I've got to get into that. From the team standpoint, as the news was coming out over the last month or so, as decisions were being made about this season and all of college sports, what was your message to your players and your team?
Yeah, it was tough. Look, there was a Thursday there, and we were sitting in film Thursday morning in our film room that we have over there at Loyola, getting ready for a Friday match and saying, hey, I think the weekend is not looking good, but maybe we can sneak this thing in. It was kind of a rivalry match against Lewis, and then Friday morning we're sitting in the same room having an end of year meeting. And that's just been the nature of it. It just things kind of escalated quickly, and now, if anybody was saying, "Oh man, why'd we cancel the season?" I think we have a better grasp of why those decisions were being made now. A little bit removed. It was tough. It is what it is. And I think we were maybe not quite as aware of how quickly this is going to escalate, and some of the severity of it right now at the time. But we were telling the guys, hey, we have our health, and this is sport, and not to minimize it. Gosh, the amount of work that goes into it is tremendous. For those poor seniors, for the the last one to kind of get the rug pulled up from under you is tough. But in the bigger scheme of things, we have our lives, our health, our jobs, etc. And that was part of it. But those end of the year meetings, they usually happen in locker rooms, in the playoffs or something. One team has a celebration, everyone else has a tough end of year meeting, kind of at least impromptu in a locker room. And for us, we did it, in the film room, and there was some kind of I don't know if disenfranchised is the right word, but some disbelief on some of the faces. Even in the meeting, you didn't quite grasp that it's over, guys. And I think we knew that. I think we knew that, though, even whatever that was, kind of mid something like March 10, something like that. We kind of knew that was it.
What do you hope your players as humans take away from some of this adversity and take with them into their college lives, the rest of their careers, and throughout their lives?
Yeah, we kind of joke about it, but the mantra in the gym is figure it out. And I sometimes say it almost passively, like, hey man, I don't know, figure it out. And this, the joke on the group text and stuff like that with the team has been, hey, figure it out. And if all you have to figure out right now is how to ace your classes from Zoom or whatever the online mechanism is, then hey, you know what, we can figure that out. The Ramblers are tough, and we talk about like life lessons. This ain't the biggest curveball that's going to be thrown your way in life, and let's not spend more than a second being sad about it, and let's get on to part two, which is figuring it out. Obviously, we'd feel foolish if we're maybe crying too many tears with the gravity of what's going on in the country. But I think that seeing these communities kind of rally and saying, hey, it is what it is. Let's move on and help the people around us. That's pretty cool.
It's interesting thinking about how you stay sharp in volleyball, because if you play basketball, you can hypothetically right now go in the driveway and shoot on a hoop. If you play baseball, we're getting ready for baseball season still, you can go hit on a tee or find a pitching machine or throw to another person. But volleyball, really a team sport, harder to practice on your own. So what was your advice to players as to how to stay sharp during this time?
Yeah, that part's tough. We always say exactly like you said. Basketball, you can go out in your backyard and get better.
Right.
For volleyball, you can get stronger. You can work on your body. I think that's the biggest thing. Some of these guys, even the guys who live in California, they maybe have the benefit of the beach, but right now, I'm not sure you and three buddies are supposed to be out there playing volleyball, right? And so even that, I think, is a no-no. And so what is it? It's you in your basement getting stronger, and so we're working on getting some equipment to guys right now, some bands and some stuff that's kind of cross-functional, but we've been sending them some pretty fun kind of body weight workouts they can do. I know guys are be it, I don't know, Snapchat or whatever it is, they're doing it, but they got a little challenge or two going on. Coaches are getting involved in the push-up one, and but I know guys are kind of sending, I don't know, whatever, selfies from like runs they're doing and just staying active. But for us to be in a little bit more communication, this is what the summer's like. We don't have these guys on campus for us in our sport in the summer. And there's a whole lot of just sort of personal responsibility that goes into it, where it's, hey, we'll see you in May, or, in this scenario, March, right. You leave, you come back in August, and we find out, how did you get stronger? Did you get after it?
I do want to take you back a couple of years, because next month, it'll be the 5-year anniversary of the Ramblers' 2015 National Championship, the second of 2 straight national titles. Loyola won in 2014 and 2015. There was an amazing 5-set thriller in the national championship match against Lewis that some call one of the best college volleyball matches of all time. You were an assistant coach on that team. What's your most vivid memory of that match and winning that second straight national championship?
That's fun. So we actually just sent the 2 videos out to all the alums. Our video folks over in athletics were cool to figure out a way to get them these giant files. That 2015 match was, 2.5 hours of volleyball. And so they figured a way to kind of get them online. So we just shared them to the group. So I took a look, and it's always fun to watch. The good guys win at the end. But gosh, you watch that thing, and I remember the first time I watched it sweating, because I didn't realize how close some of these moments were. I'm talking an inch the other way, and the bad guys win that thing 3-4 times, and just it's sport, gosh, a whole lot of memories, more vividly than, maybe without surprise, more vividly than some other matches. One of my fondest is I remember I had like a cup of coffee right before this match, this is a ridiculous memory, but I've never since had a cup of coffee right before a match, because you don't need a cup of coffee before the national championship match. It turns out, you're already probably pretty wired. And I remember standing on the sideline man, I am completely overstimulated for this moment right now, and having to kind of calm it down. You get a special group and a little bit of luck along the way, no doubt about that. And it all kind of came together, and a whole lot of hard work that kind of led up to making it 2 years, for sure. But I think you realize it's humbling. You realize really good team, sure, but there's a whole lot of good teams. It takes the stars aligning a little bit too to do something like that.
MEBA announced your freshman Cole Schlotthauer as MEBA Newcomer of the Year, second in kills in MEBA this season. What kind of impact did Cole have this year?
He was huge. He was huge, and I thought obviously his the volume of what he was doing for us, and we set him a ton of balls at times shamelessly, which as a young guy isn't easy. And having the redshirt year was really good for him. We haven't been able to have that many guys that we've been able to redshirt in my time here. And so him last year, I mean, look, he got to play against, I don't know, top 5 team in the country in the practice gym every day, and how lucky is he to getting set every ball against some pretty big bad dudes his true freshman year, but getting to kind of cut his teeth. And so that was really good for him. That served him well, that redshirt year. But I thought what he did, maybe what was most impressive about his year beyond his ability to kill the ball and his consistency, but was his ability to handle that load. You're a freshman,
Sure.
and the bad guys have gotten the scouting report, and they're going to lean on you, and then you're going to be tired. It's part of being a student athlete. You're going to be tired. You're going to be beat up physically. That's part of it. Someone's going to, kind of get to you through the net. The bad guys are there, all that stuff, the fans. And he was pretty consistent.
You were without one of your most important players this season, Garrett Zolk, who was first team All-MEVA a year ago. How was it adjusting without somebody who was such a key part of the team in years past?
Yeah, we were lucky. Garrett was, an All-American. And then Ian Cowan, who kind of drove the thing for us this year and led the way. He had been kind of the guy in the practice gym, which is, behind the scenes, but probably the most consistent Loyola Rambler in the gym the last few years, and got a ton of really good experience his freshman year. Didn't play as much the next two with Garrett maybe being in taking the position, but we weren't too worried. The group as a collective did such a good job in a really small period of time. Almost none of those guys were on the court last year, and none of them were on the court together. The combination of which is tricky. And I thought we got better at volleyball, no doubt, but we did this in a really cool way.
You mentioned a lot of names there that did big things for your team this past season. And no doubt there's a bright future for the program. We talked about Cole Schlotthauer, the season he had as a freshman this year. Freshman Jake Moffitt had a nice last few weeks of the season. Junior Devin Jocelyn played really well. Heading into the summer, next fall, next winter, it sounds like you have a really good outlook for what this team could be next season.
Yeah, we have a really good roadmap, I think. I think we know the standard pretty clearly. I think we've seen it sometimes from the guy across the street or whatever. Other teams that we played throughout the year, we played a really tough schedule early, which is what you want. We see BYU, you see Hawaii, you see all these teams blew us. A really good squad this year. And so we got to see the standard. Man, we got to get some guys in the court, and there's no better way to learn than on the court. Moffitt to get a taste of the court and really thrive like you said, in the few weeks that he was out there, did a really nice job for us at the opposite position, which is really not his position of choice, at least hadn't been. And he did a really nice job there. Dev, so consistent throughout the year.
You're the first coach we're talking to as part of this Rambler Insider series, and I'm sure this is something I'll ask in some way to every coach that has a spring sport. But the NCAA coming out earlier this week that they will be granting another year of eligibility to athletes in those spring sports. You have a senior in Kyle Pekarski, who's been a big part of the program. I guess with Kyle and with the program in general, how does that affect things for you moving forward?
Yeah, we'll see. This stuff, the devil's in the details and this stuff. We'll see. The NCAA is still kind of trickling down what it's going to look like. I mean, obviously a cool opportunity to get guys back. Our guys, our sport, we get 4.5 scholarships, and in basketball where you just kind of bring them back and slap a full ride on them. Loyola ain't cheap. And so we'll see, these guys, fortunately, something we kind of recruit on. These guys get jobs and they're ready to kind of go, and they graduate in 4 years because they should and they can.
Right.
So these guys all planned on graduating in 4 years. I couldn't tell you the collective GPA of the senior class is, well north of 3.5. And they're sharp guys with bright futures. And so we will see. We will see if they are able to, but there's still some details, again, that maybe haven't trickled all the way down.
Transitioning away from this year's team, Jeff Gingerich, who had just a tremendous career at Loyola, you coached him, now plays for Team USA and was getting ready to play in Tokyo for Team USA. The Olympics getting pushed back to 2021. You coached Jeff. Have you spoken to him about what his last few weeks have been like and how he's adjusting and training during this time?
Yeah, so I know he was back. He was back in Wheaton. Wheaton's home for him, and he was there. And he was texting me and asking pretty quick, like, "Hey, can I get in Loyola in the gym?" And I said, "Hey, my ID doesn't even work, and the place is closed down." But he's trying to find a gym. I think he was maybe on the
Right.
news working out with a. It was pretty ragtag set of you got to figure it out, right? I think he had a bag of sand and a couple of TheraBands or something. That he was trying to work out with. So I know he's thinking of getting his way out west, where they have a little bit more access to some
Sure.
stuff. Tommy Jeschke and I were all kind of texting back and forth and trying to figure out how do you get strong right now. Obviously, you feel for the Olympians, these guys that it's every 4 years for some of these folks.
Right.
Volleyball maybe being on the fortunate side in that they're able to do, they have pro careers that are along with it.
Right.
You get somebody like a gymnastics where it's like, maybe this is it. And man, you feel for them. No better way to say it than that. But I think neither of those guys shed a tear, or maybe they did, behind the scenes, but they didn't complain to me about, oh, this isn't fair. Because, like we said earlier, there's not a whole lot of time for that.
Finally, Mark, before we let you go, this is a question that I like to ask a lot of head coaches throughout the Loyola Ramblers family. But if you're watching this, if you're a prospective student, a recruit in any sport, to you, what separates Loyola from other places when you're considering coming to Rogers Park?
Yeah, I think I've been doing some of these recruiting visits and stuff like that from right here and at home, and I think moments like this, it's really clear what makes the place special. Our guys are doing it's the people, right? It's the people, and it's the sincere care and concern that they share for the student athlete and the student body in general, right? The professors here, the academic support people, they want to see you succeed, and so
Right.
hey, here we are in some uncharted waters, and the professors are doing far exceeding my expectations, frankly, of how they're doing, not just with making it all happen and getting online the way teachers are all across the country, but their ability
Right.
still to check in with the students and to be available and to help them out. Our academic advisors, that's within athletics specifically, are just killing it right now. Still supporting the student athletes, still finding tutoring, still finding some mental health check-in.
Sure.
These guys and gals, it's tricky. Strength and conditioning, the same idea, just finding some unique ways. But the way that the whole place is rallied, that's administrators, support staff, coaches, everybody sticking together and just trying to support the student athletes and helping them be successful. And so silver lining, they get to really focus on some of these courses and hopefully get straight A's in some classes that would have been tough to get A's in because they have a little bit more time to study. At least that's the way we're pitching it. But yeah, I think these moments, you get an average class size of 27 and a whole lot of people who care. It makes a real big difference in your ability to handle adversity. And adversity is what we deal with in college sports. It's a lot of fun, but it's tough. And I think Loyola handles it all in a pretty special way. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it right now for sure.
No, certainly that's a great example about what makes Loyola a great place to come play, come go to school, is that unity and the ability to adjust and go the extra mile in these tough times as we all figure things out in college athletics and beyond. Mark, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck with everything. Stay safe. Hope everything is well with you and your family. And I'm sure we'll talk to you sometime soon. Hopefully see you sometime soon. And best of luck with everything coming up.
Yeah, Sam, thank you very much. Good health to you and yours, and hopefully we'll see you around soon.